The neighbor who built a gate through my fence, so I built a brick wall overnight. It was a quiet Sunday morning in Oak Ridge Meadows, a suburban enclave in Texas where the lawns were manicured and the HOA ruled with an iron fist. I was sipping coffee in my backyard, savoring the progress I'd made renovating my late mother's house, when I noticed something that made my heart skip a beat. There, carved into my wooden fence, was a gleaming new gate professional grade, with shiny brass hinges and an electronic lock blinking like it was daring me to react. It led straight to the sprawling estate of Linda Hawthorne, our HOA president. She'd built a shortcut through my property without so much as a phone call. By the next morning, that gate was gone, replaced by a solid brick wall I built overnight. What happened next turned our neighborhood upside down, and Linda's empire of control crumbled in ways she never saw coming. 3 days earlier, I, Tom Bradley, a 52-year-old engineer, stood dumbfounded in my backyard. The gate wasn't some DIY hack. It was a precision job, complete with concrete footings and decorative stones. Linda appeared through it like she owned the place, her designer heels clicking on the flagstone path. Dressed in a blazer that screamed money, she flashed a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Tom, I'm so glad you found it," she said, as if I'd stumbled across a gift. "This gate is part of our new neighborhood security protocol. The HOA board approved it last week." "Approved it?" I said, gripping my coffee mug. "Linda, you cut a hole in my fence. That's my property." Her smile didn't waver. She launched into a spiel about strategic access points and community safety, claiming the HOA had the right to modify private property for the greater good. From behind a hedge, my neighbor, old man Harold Jenkins, chuckled. "In my day, we called that trespassing, sweetheart," he called out. Linda's composure flickered, but she pressed on, citing bylaws I'd never heard of and an emergency session I hadn't been invited to. That afternoon, I dug into the HOA records at the community center, a building Linda had turned into her personal command post. The minutes from the so-called emergency session were a joke held with only 3 board members present, including Linda, and approved in under 15 minutes. Worse, I found evidence that Linda had manipulated property boundaries at City Hall, shifting her lot line 4 feet into my backyard to make her gate legal. The clerk, a nervous kid named Joey, admitted Linda had paid $5,000 to expedite the change, hinting at more consulting work if he played along. Linda wasn't just power-hungry. She was running a scam. My blood boiled, but I stayed calm. I called my old friend Carl Thompson, a retired contractor with a knack for solving problems Texas style. "Tom," he said, "this calls for a statement. Let's build something she can't ignore." That's when I met Rachel Carter, a sharp young lawyer who specialized in HOA disputes. "Linda's done this to 6 other properties," Rachel warned. "She's built an empire on fake bylaws and intimidation. But you've got something she doesn't prove." The first escalation came when Linda slapped me with a cease and desist letter, demanding I stop interfering with her gate or face $500 daily fines. Then she hired an environmental monitoring company to harass me, claiming my renovation violated noise and light ordinances. Their equipment was so poorly placed it picked up street traffic instead of my tools. When the city inspector, Mr. Lopez, reviewed my counter-evidence logs of every car, plane, and lawnmower during their monitoring, he laughed. "This data is useless," he said. "Whoever set this up didn't know what they were doing." Linda doubled down. A TikTok video went viral, featuring a woman I'd never seen claiming I was a violent neighbor, endangering kids by blocking emergency access. Channel 5 ran a story titled "Suburban Standoff Turns Ugly," with Linda tearfully playing the victim in her pristine backyard. My phone buzzed with hate messages from strangers. I felt like I was drowning. Worst of all, I had to call my ex-wife, Diane, and admit I might not have a stable home for our daughter, Lily, by Christmas. "Tom, what's happening?" Diane asked, her voice heavy with disappointment. That was my breaking point. Then Carl dropped a bombshell. He'd recorded Joey confessing to Linda's bribe and emailed it to every resident, along with blueprints showing Linda's plan to build gates through 3 more properties. Neighbors started connecting the dots: mysterious tax hikes, violation notices for legal structures. Rachel uncovered the real motive. Linda was bankrupt from gambling debts, and her husband, Victor, a lawyer facing disbarment, had funneled client funds to cover her losses. Their security plan was a front to inflate property values for a secret deal to sell Oak Ridge Meadows to a developer planning to bulldoze it for condos. I decided it was time to act. At 11:30 p.m., Carl rolled up with a truck full of bricks, mortar, and a concrete mixer. "You sure, Tom?" he asked, grinning. "Once this wall goes up, Linda's gonna lose it." I nodded. We worked through the night, building a 6-foot brick wall exactly on the original 1987 property line, using Carl's old survey notes. By dawn, Linda's gate was a pile of scrap metal, and the wall stood tall, a symbol of defiance. When Linda woke up and saw it, her screams echoed through the neighborhood. She pounded on the bricks, yelling, "You destroyed my property. I'll sue you." The street watched, stunned. Sheriff Daniels arrived, measured the wall, and shrugged. "Looks legal to me," he said, barely hiding a smile. Linda's threats, lawsuits, fines, even malicious construction charges fell flat. At the next HOA meeting, I projected Carl's evidence on the wall: the fake bylaws, the altered boundaries, the developer's contract. The room erupted. Mrs. Larson, a longtime resident, demanded, "Are you selling our homes out from under us?" Linda's excuses unraveled as Rachel presented bank records tying her to the gambling debts and Victor's fraud. The courtroom showdown was swift. Rachel's lawsuit exposed Linda's scheme to defraud the city and homeowners. Victor confessed to negotiating the developer deal, admitting Linda's gates were meant to ease commercial rezoning. The judge, Mrs. Rivera, ordered Linda to pay restitution, serve community service, and step down from the HOA. The boundary changes were reversed, and the developer backed off after I was hired to oversee a resident-friendly redevelopment plan. Ironically, my old firm, Meridian Solutions, was behind the project and trusted me to protect the neighborhood. 3 months later, Lily was swinging in our backyard, laughing as neighbors helped build her playset. Linda approached the wall, now fitted with a legal gate we both agreed on. "Tom," she said, her voice soft, "I'm sorry, and thank you for stopping me." She'd taken a job at an architectural firm, her first real work in years. "This wall saved me," she admitted. Oak Ridge Meadows thrived, with affordable housing, a community center, and a new council I led, focused on transparency. A plaque on the wall read, "Good fences make good neighbors, Texas style." As I watched Lily chase fireflies during a neighborhood barbecue, I realized this fight wasn't just about a fence. It was about standing up when someone crosses your line, whether it's a neighbor, a boss, or a system. Linda's desperation drove her to hurt others, but truth and community brought her down. What do you think? Have you ever faced someone who thought the rules didn't apply to them? Share your story in the comments, especially about dealing with injustice or bullying. Where do you stand on fighting back versus letting go? Let's hear your take.